rocking chair carved from old oak wood, a tin sign saying life is good. Mason jars and candles warm in your palm. Everything whispers Susie's on.
Welcome to Susie on the Farm, where handmade dreams come true. From thrifted treasures to crafty creations, there's always something beautiful in the making. So come on in, feel the heart, and let your creativity bloom. Doesn't that song just get you so fired up? And then I had all my DIY supplies out there that I started with this week, because in this video I need to add a few more things to my patriotic display here in the store. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started with today's projects. Project number one is baseballs, and what's more American than baseballs? I painted a bunch of these back around Memorial Day and sold every one of them. Now, these are as clean as I can get them. These are baseballs that have been thrown around in the dirt for who knows how long. For my Americana colors today, I'm using DIY, and this is Marquee. I think it's the perfect red. And for the blue, for the first time, I decided to use Bohemian Blue by DIY. And I also think that it's the perfect 4th of July blue. Instead of white, I am using faded burlap, and I'm doing this just hand painting stripes onto the dry red paint. And if you're a perfectionist, this might not be the thing for you, because there's no perfect in this. There's a lot of mistakes, a lot of not straight lines, and that's not what it's about. It is just about getting them on there. So that's what I did. I got all the lines painted on the red, and for the stars, I had a few Mylar stencils that I've had forever. So I tried them on a couple. This one did good, but I just don't like the design of the star. And this one was messy as all get out, but I liked it better. And then I just decided just to freehand them myself. And I got to be honest and say, they're definitely not perfect. They look like, you know, a 4-year-old drew them, but I like it better. And once I got the right brush tip, it was real easy just to paint my own stars on there. And I like the more whimsical look that it gave rather than trying to do a perfect stencil. So I got all my stars painted on. Everything is good to go. All the paint is dry. And the next step is what really takes the baseballs to the next level, because we're going to grunge them back up. We're going to make them look like they've been rolling in the dirt again. And for that, I am using Fusion aging wax, and I'm just putting a little bit of wax on them, even over the threads. I want these balls to be really dirty, and this will also seal in that paint. Then you just take a paper towel, wipe back the excess, and voila, perfect grungy baseballs. And like I said, these always sell good. For project number two, these are a couple of baskets that we used in the wedding, so I thought I would give them a little makeover. Everything I'm doing today is pretty easy, and I just wanted to add a few fun, patriotic DIYs to my display here at the store. This is the new Frames 3 mold, and I've used this mold so much already. I'm just casting a couple of those little labels, and now I'm taking the apothecary labels. They have different fonts, and I'm using different fonts on here. For the first one, I'm doing USA, and I'm actually pushing the stamp into the wet clay to make an impression. Oops, almost did that S upside down. And it makes a perfect little impression into your wet clay. And you might not be able to see it really good right now, but I'm gonna do an effect on it that will make it show really good. The second one, I did 1776 on it, and now I'm taking the Marquee, painting, the clay is still wet. So what I did is I just watered down my paint a little bit, and I'm using a very soft bristle brush because that clay is still wet, and I don't want to mess up any of those details. So I painted one red, and I painted the other one with the Bohemian Blue. Again, doing the same thing, watering down my paint, making sure I'm getting into all those details without smushing them. Once the paint was dry on both of them, I'm going to come back with some white wax, but I'm going to wait a little while. I didn't have time to wait overnight, but I waited a few hours, did a few more things, and I let a crusty, hard surface kind of get on the outside of those molds. They still didn't have time to dry completely. That takes overnight. I am sorry that you will have to wait till the end of the video to see all the reveals. That's just how I ended up filming and editing. I didn't have my pictures when I was editing this part because I hadn't, taken all the final photographs. Once they were dry enough, I went ahead and used some Tite Bond glue, glued them onto the basket, and now I'm using DIY white wax. Like I said, I waited till that top layer got a little crusty over it. I'm just spreading the white wax over the paint and then coming back with a wet wipe to take a lot of it off so that white stays in all of those details and the impression that I made with the stamp to really make them shine. And these cute little baskets, I filled them up with a bunch of little patriotic sewing notions, and they turned out so cute. I can't wait for y'all to see them. Project number 3 is another easy one. Had this frame a long time. It was brass, so I didn't want to paint it, but it was also pretty scratched up and just didn't look good. So I'm going to put one of the new Connie Lines and Designs rice papers. She has a couple in her new release that are so patriotic, and I'm using both of them in today's projects. I know I said I wasn't going to open anything new, but new products don't count. I have to show them to you guys. And also, always when there's a new release, I pull enough out for me to do a project with. And then if I don't end up using them all, I just put them back. So I did get 2 out for this video. Once I did 2 coats of the Bohemian Blue, I distressed back, brought some of that brass back and let it dry. And then once it was dry, I cleared everything with a little DIY Big Top. Big Top's a great sealer. It dries completely clear. It has no shine to it at all, but it dries hard as a rock and protects your paint and your surface. After the paint was dry, all that was left to do was put it back together and add that Connie Lines. I don't have a picture, but wait till the end and you'll see it and you're gonna love it. Project number 4 is a clock. Now, I usually stay away from mechanical things because I'm not very mechanically inclined. But I did get this one taken apart. You won't see me put it back together because I actually had to watch this video of myself taking it apart to figure out how to put it back together. While I had it apart though, I am going to use the simple 4th rice paper. Look at that, how cute is that? And I'm getting just the part that I want out of it, and I am fussy cutting that circle out. It was very easy to draw the line using the clock base. So I cut out that circle, and then I'm going to use some watered down Mod Podge to Mod Podge it on there, trying to get it pretty straight so I can get my hands lined back upright. I went over the top of it again, and then I am painting the outside of the clock with Fusion. On this shiny metal, I wanted to use Fusion because it has a built-in sealer, a self-leveler, and it goes on so easy. This is the color Putty, and all of these paints are available on susieonthefarm.com if you're interested in doing your own DIYs. This little clock I've had for a while in the store, and I really liked it, but I felt like it needed a fresh start. So I painted the base and I painted around the clock with that putty. I did end up distressing the base and putting it all back together. I think it still works. I gotta go check it. I could not waste the rest of this paper. It's just so cute, and I didn't hardly get any of the flowers on that clock. So I had this little cubby house. I actually have a couple of these, and I thought, well, they're not doing any good back here on my shelf. So I went ahead and painted the outside of this one with the faded burlap, which is kind of like a tan color. And since I wasn't using a bright white on anything else, I decided to go ahead with the faded burlap on this one. And I was able to cut just a couple pieces to fit on the roof and in the center of my little trinket shelf. This does hang on the wall. We all know and love the little trinket shelves. I'm gonna fill this one up with a bunch of fun patriotic sewing notions too. I have a little collection of thimbles that I think is going to look super cute in it. For our last project today, this is a version of something I did yesterday morning in my live. And I have all these strips. I've already ripped them down. I have some white, some red. I don't think I did any blue in this one. I wanted to make those jean pockets the blue part. So I also have a small little embroidery hoop, but you could also do this like using a pants hanger or this morning in my live, I'll show y'all that picture. I got in my button stash and I am just randomly stitching some buttons onto that jean pocket. This is a pair of jeans that I have loved for years. I actually bought these at a boutique, and I am not a boutique shopper at all. I'm a thrift store shopper, even for clothes usually, but I had bought these at a boutique. And I loved them so much. I wore them. This was before I even lost weight. So they have been worn and loved, and they finally had to be retired. These are also the jeans that I painted the sunflowers on. And I will say that the acrylic paint that I used, I didn't even seal it. I just wanted to see how it did. And it faded pretty bad. The pants were falling off of me. So I decided to go ahead and DIY with these jean pockets. And I put that little red heart to symbolize home, right, on the flag, the little red heart. Now I'm just taking all of those strips of fabric and tying them onto this embroidery hoop. Some of them were long, so I just tied them like straight around it. Some of them were shorter, so I ended up tying them and leaving like a little tab at the top. You'll see here in just a second. But I just kept going and tying them on until I liked the way it looked. And then after I got them all tied on, I even went back, had to rip a few more red, tied a few more on. I cut off a lot of little strings and gave it a little bit of a haircut, but it's already looking super cute. And like I said, I'm putting a little bit more red on there. I just love this red striped sheet. So I added that on there, and then to finish it off, I am going to use some hot glue to add the pocket on. I'm putting a good healthy amount of hot glue and then holding it on there really good while it dries, and it's already looking so cute. But I wanted one more pop of blue, so I'm using some navy blue seam binding that I have and just tying a little bow there at the top. I stuck some red flowers in the pocket. I don't like the red flowers, so I think I'm going to replace them with a couple of flags. But either way, they look super cute. And now finally, you guys get to see all the finished projects here on my front porch in the display. And I love how everything turned out, from the baseballs to the Miss Liberty in the frame. Isn't she gorgeous? And the little gold accents in the frame match the print very well. The clock, the baskets, everything just turned out so patriotic, and I am loving these DIYs. I hope that you guys enjoyed all of them and you got lots of inspiration to do your own patriotic DIYs. And if you need any paint or products, be sure you visit SusieOnTheFarm.com. I'm going to give you one more look at all the projects, and make sure you let me know down in the comments which one was your favorite. Give this video a thumbs up so that YouTube shares it out with all the other folks. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you again next time.